What's up, guys? This is going to be an unboxing from Evike, and I'm actually just commentating because when I was videotaping this, my whole family was home and everyone's making noise and there's nowhere else to really go. I don't feel like doing it upstairs, so just felt like I'll videotape it and microphone in later. Makes it easier. It's like no matter how many times I tell my mom I'm recording, she still doesn't care. Like, just makes noise. It's like, Mom, please. You know, the only one time of the day I can really record is at night, and even then she still does things. So if you guys hear anything like that, I'm sorry, but that's the best I can do for now. So what we've got in the box here, right there, is the first thing is Mad Bull 6.03 inner barrel type bore barrels. So I was checking to see if there was anything else in the box. It's a nice barrel. I had one previously on the KWA, switched it to that barrel because when I cut it with the hacksaw, it cut very nicely. There's a dust cover right here for an M4/M16 made by ICS. It's pretty well made quality. I look at it, it's very good quality. The spring is a little bit weak, but that's pretty simple to fix. You just bend it over, and once you bend it one time over, it's very tight. So you can see there's a lot of it's good quality made. The bottom bracing where the pin goes is one solid piece. You can see it's very good quality made. What do you expect from ICS? Now the problem with this is the ICS version is a little bit smaller lip than an SRC or G&G, and I thought that problem might happen, but I decided I'd just go with it anyways because I can't order those anywhere that I can find online. So I went with the ICS, and of course it doesn't fit, and that's something you just knew that it was going to happen, simply because, well, let me talk about this. I got this tool too. It's an AIM tool, made by the company AIM, but it's got several options here. I mean, you can open up a delta ring. You can pull down on the delta ring. This material is textured, very heavy, very hard. It's some kind of nice metal. It's very durable. But it has many options. I mean, you can even open up the stock and remove the stock easily with it. And there goes my mom rambling, still talking. I guess that's how moms always are, right? So I'm looking at this Evike stuff that they gave with me. They have a 10% off. They have an 18% off. Nice. Buy some more parts from there. They aren't the cheapest for parts. The cheapest I found so far is eHobby Asia. If you're going to do shipping, you usually want to do the 5 to 10 days. I think it's a week or two. And that's the cheapest there when you combine it together. It's cheaper. Excuse me. It's cheaper than Evike. However, Evike does have some parts that are cheaper than eHobby Asia, so I buy from both places. I check online all over for these parts to find the best prices. And I noticed that the inner barrel hop-ups and stuff like that are better price usually for the type that you want through Evike, which is pretty interesting. Even some of the tools are less, so that's really interesting. But what we got here, I also had a little pin that was for the MK36 Echo 1, also generic brand, I think it said, but I was going to try to see if it fit more properly. It didn't fit at all in my G36 by Aries. I thought it might fit because of the length of it, but it wasn't wide enough at all. The diameter's just not there, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it other than probably use that pin and for something else when I get screwed when I need a pin. Then I'll just use that one for that. So we're going to open this up. And again, this material Got to yawn sometimes. This material for the Mad Bull version 2. It's a black barrel and type barrel, and it's 6.03. It's beautiful. That's all I have to say. It's about 30 bucks, but this is a M16 length. It's a 509 I can't even remember. It's millimeters, I think it is. Yes, millimeters. I'm trying to remember the lengths and stuff. I'm not very good at remembering words. I will forget that later on, trust me. So I have a hard time remembering stuff like that for some reason. My brain's that way. So we see here I've got the length, and I order it longer because you can always cut it off. I have a hacksaw that I went and got from Walmart. Also, I've got different blades. I've got several other tools. You can see that this thing right here, I bought this from Walmart. And I don't really care for Walmart, but some of the stuff is cheaper that you have to just go there to get that. So moving on here, this is the KWA barrel, and it was a pain to hacksaw. Oh my gosh, it was very solid, of some kind of type of material that was just made very, very, very solid. It was just a pain in the ass to hacksaw. This is the new barrel right here, which I'm going to hacksaw. So I'm going to change the mount just so that I don't have to worry about the barrel getting damaged. I'm just moving it simply because I'm going to take this the Mad Bull Ultimate hop-up and put it in the M16 because I ordered a garter hop-up to go for the M4 silencer type gun. And I've also noticed a barrel spacer is missing. There was only one barrel spacer, but 3 guns and only 1 barrel spacer. Now, it's not always necessary to have one, it looks like, because when I put it together, it still holds pretty well. But with a barrel spacer, it just finishes. It's like an icing on the cake, locks it in there solid. It's not going to really go anywhere. Also, I'm telling right here, you look at the line. There's a line that you have to follow to put the hop up back in, or excuse me, the bucking. But basically, what I'm going to do here is put this all back together so that I can find the right length I need to tape, and then I can cut. And here's where you check your hop up, make sure your hop up is working. You can see right there, there's a little nub. It's very curved and it's very in the straight position. It's in the right spot. And then I'm going to go backwards so I can turn it off. And it works perfectly. No issues. So, other than not having a spacer, but it's not moving very much. I'm going to order a spacer pretty soon. I just noticed I have to get another flash hider and some other parts for something else. So I decided maybe I'll just go that route. Maybe some more tools. That's what I'm thinking. I was able to get the flash hider off my G&G GR16 M4, so once I did that, I needed another flash hider for this set, and I didn't really care for the flash hiders that I've had, so I might buy 2 flash hiders, I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm going to tape this right here so that I know the right length to cut it. Now, when you cut these barrels, take into account that you need to push your hop up. You can see I pushed it up as far as I could, and then you need to tape not the very end but pretty close to it and cut before the tape so you know where that line is. But if you cut too close to the end of the barrel right here, what happens is when you go to file it to make it very smooth, you still can't make it the right length. So you're going to have to take it out and file it down, and it's not going to be straight. I like to use the outer barrel as the straight part when you file it down. As soon as you file to the outer barrel where you see a little bit of metal being hit from your filer, then you know you've got a pretty perfect straight, and you're done. And that's what I've been doing. It just makes it easy. It's the exact length you need, and it looks great at the end of the barrels right there. Plus, with it not having it extended, if I have it extended, I have to get a silencer to hide the inner barrel. But if I was to sell this and someone wanted to reuse it and go a different route, I allowed them the ability. So because I cut that off and put it at the end of the barrel where it's supposed to be properly. And at the same time, people are going to argue, oh, you cut down the range a little bit. Well, that was kind of my intent, was to just have it in the perfect spot it's supposed to be. I mean, the range could be another 10, 20 feet. And then someone could break the inner barrel when they take off the silencer and turn with it. So that would be kind of suckage too. So I just figured I'd cut it. That's me, make it better externally for the time being. So if someone wants to put a new inner barrel, they do that. That's their choice. But at least I made it working the way it's supposed to be. Now for the other gun, the inner barrel actually does go to the end of the silencer. And I cut it that way to be that way because it was way too short. Right where my thumb is by the rail integrated system, that's how short the barrel is, the outer barrel. That's ridiculous. It's like an inch. Yeah, am I going to keep an inch for an inner barrel? No. So kind of had to change my decision there. As I'm working on the ICS dust cover, I do realize that it's not going to fit the way I want, and I have to look at the springs to make sure I put it in the right way, because you don't want to be taking it back apart. I forgot to put it the right way. So usually, to make it best, because sometimes I find it hard which way to turn it, I look at another gun that I have that has the dust cover the way I want, and then I just copy it so it makes it easy. On top of that, the pin that I have to put in has 2 locks, and they're these little metal circle locks. You have to push them down really hard. It was a good thing I had the tools that I did. If I didn't have the tools, I would have been a little bit difficult, a lot more difficulty, I would say. I'd have to use a hammer and so forth, and then I couldn't even hit it properly. You need a tool that has length, so you can get in there, and at the same time you need it to be hard and a little big in diameter. And the perfect tools that I have are these nail punch outs. They're great for hitting out like pins too. I have different sizes. This one's a little bit bigger, and I decided to go with this one. That way I don't leave some holes or anything when I poke it. It's not like an ice pick, it's thick. So when I go to hit it, I don't hit it, excuse me. I go to push it in with my thumb. You'll see pretty soon. It works great. It actually gets it in there. If I wasn't using that, it would have been a lot more difficult. Because I tried using some pliers at first, and I was like, nope, this ain't going in this way. I'm going to have to use something to push down on it. And so that's why I came back with that. So I went off screen to get the other KWA, I think it was, to confirm. Yes, to get the KWA to confirm that the dust cover goes a certain way. And I did notice the dust cover on the KWA is longer. The lip is. So it would have been nice to buy even a KWA dust cover, but you can't. I haven't seen anywhere that you can right now. So also, if you notice, the KWA has a black, 2 black color spots on it when it opens that dust cover. That's basically colored that way because it used to say goodbye when I got it for working on through the project, and I decided that either I'd spray paint that, but it was too much time, or I'd permanent marker it out and let it dry, and it would kind of just color itself away and look nice. That was what I decided to do with it. Because I didn't want to take the time to spray paint it. I spray painted so many things. You can see the M4, the silencer, it looks great. I had to spray paint that. The silencer, the outer barrel, the rail, also the outer barrel of the M16, the barrel nut, I guess they call it, that turns to lock the rail onto the receiver, had to be spray painted. And then it took a little bit of a few days to get spray painted with the right amount of coat and not too thick, and it looks great with that shine. So it looks pretty new. You look at it and you go, wow, this looks great. So here's me showing the desk cover really doesn't fit, and I knew it wasn't going to. It was just going to end up that way. And then I'm just thinking about how I want to put this together. Do I really want to try to keep it locking or just fold it open? And then I think to myself, you know what? It's a blowback. You better leave it open while it's shooting. It makes sense, you know. But here's me showing again. You can see you can barely see down there. You can't really. But with this other one, you'll be able to see into the hop-up and the gearbox. So just a good idea. The bolt actually kind of hides it, but just a good idea for now is just put it open, because once it starts shooting with the blowback, it will still look fine. Just because the dust cover doesn't close perfectly doesn't, you know, hurt it. It's still great. So you can see right here, they are not the same size. I'm like, so the SRC, KWA, and G&G dust covers are a little bit taller, like height. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they're focusing on more of it, the real receiver type, or maybe there's something to do with the gearbox, the way they have the blowback or something. They have to cut it and make the receiver actually a little bigger in that area. I'm not real sure. But I do know which dust covers should fit is the G&G, SRC, and KWAs. That's what I know of so far. The ICS is not going to. What are the ones they're not going to? I'm trying to think. There's some other brands that generic stuff that doesn't fit. You can tell. Oh, King Arms doesn't fit either. You can tell by looking at the front of the dust cover. There's like this black. It's some kind of a piece that comes downward. It holds the plastic parts on the other side that keeps it to lock in to the receiver. But if you're looking at it from that angle, you can see how much height it has or how tall it is, and that's how I could tell that the SRC actually has the proper length, and the G&Gs have the proper length, and the KWAs, and that's kind of hard to notice. You have to be very careful. So here I am using that tool, and you're going to see that I use my left thumb to kind of hold it in place while I use my right thumb or my right hand to push it down with the thumb and just push it in. At first I kind of tap on it, and then I realized you just need to push it down really hard so it locks in there. So that's one side, and then I decide, okay, now we're going to do the other side. Just get it on up in there. So once this M16 is done, it's going to look pretty cool, because now it doesn't have any real gray scratches. I also fixed the stock. We'll see pretty soon. But see, this tool is just beautiful. I like having these tools because they're great for hitting out the pins and not leaving scratch marks. They just hit out the pin. Even if it's really hard, usually you have to use an ice pick, and that would ruin the pin or something similar to it. But with these things, you can hit the pin out, and it really doesn't leave that much of a mark at all. You might want to use a little piece of paper just in case, because it is metal on metal, and it's going to scratch regardless if the paint's not bonded very well. But for the most part, these pins are just lovely. And so you can see I've got it there now, and we're going to put on the last piece. You can see the spring was really tight. When I first put it in, the spring was not tight. The dust cover would barely stay open. And what you're supposed to do is take it and bound it up again. Like take the end of it and turn it clockwise, I believe. Yeah, clockwise. And hold it like that. It's kind of hard to hold because it was trying to spring out of your hand. But hurry up and put the pin through it, and it will tighten itself. Kind of like a rubber band. When you double up a rubber band, it makes it tight. Well, you're just taking the spring and you're tightening it by turning it and leaving it turned once, and so it's very tight. Now I just put on that last lock, and then we'll be all set with the dust cover here, which will be real nice because now it'll look a lot better. Because without a dust cover, it kind of looks like, what happened? You know, did you break this off? I don't know why some of them are like that. It just didn't have a dust cover properly. It was missing, and so was some other parts to the. Like I said, the hop up, there was the barrel spacer missing. It was like, huh? Where are these parts? They just get thrown away or something? I guess people don't think that some of them are really necessary. I would call it kind of necessary. Okay, so you can see there, it opens up, it closes, it looks nice. It's got the nice black color, so there's no real gray. It's all black all the way up to that barrel point. But now I'm going to cut that off. And the way to properly do this is to put everything back together. First, open up your pins. I couldn't really focus on how to put it back in there because it's been some time since I took it off, and then I realized, oh wait, the pin's not open. You have to be very careful. There's a spring that goes on top of the G&G gearbox. It's for the charging handle. Now the charging handle, I've found different versions. The G&G one for blowback, the spring is in the right spot, and it kind of hits the bolt at the same time. So that charging handle is going to be different, and you can't just go and buy another one and put it in there because it's not the same kind. The spring doesn't go in the same spot either. You have to probably change your receiver at the same time. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you will have to change your receiver if you plan that route. And so now I push that hop-up in there because the hop-up's supposed to come backwards by a spring, so it locks into your gearbox where the air nozzle is. But I push it forward a little bit so that I can get the most cut from the top of the barrel. And then later on I push it back so that it locks in perfectly. But basically I'm putting it together right now so it holds it for me while I cut it, because otherwise the barrel is just going to move backwards and forward, and it's going to make it difficult to cut it with the hacksaw. So, man, this is a tiring night for me. But getting the tools that I got from Walmart. Let's see, what else did I get? I got some pliers. I think I showed that before. Some wire stuff I had gotten too. So now if a wire was cut or I decided to change the way the wire connects, I can connect it, ground it, pretty much do anything around that area. I had some heat shrinks. What tools did I get? Some more tape. And some other stuff, but I'll have to confirm with that later. You can see there I'm just pulling it back, checking the spring. That dust cover looks great, works good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and then I'm going to file it down. Now, like I said, you want to cut it a little bit further away from the end so you can file it down, and you won't have some sharpness at the end, because if you have sharpness at the end, when the BB comes out, it hits that and nicks it. Now here's the tool. I'm just going over the new tool that I got from Evike just now, and it has some squares. I believe that's for locking onto the rails. One side's for the stock. I've got one for the delta ring that looks like none for the real barrel nut itself, but now you can see the gun right here. It's in great condition. Now this doesn't really close. You can see the lip is not tall enough right there. But the gun is beautiful. It's almost ready completely. See there, I cut it perfectly. I cleaned it out. You have to clean out the barrel, or else you leave these little shavings. You clean out the outer barrel, the inner barrel. You use oh gosh, I forget what that is called. It's called the unjamming rod. I remembered a little bit later, so I had to re-edit that back in there. But gun's great to go. You can see I just want to shoot this thing bad. Just like, yeah, it's solid. I fixed it. There's some pieces missing inside. It is solid now. It's a great gun. Not sure if I'm going to sell this or not. I think both these are probably going to hit the field. But the last gun I've got to use is that M4 with the silencer. I got to fix that up, and then I'll be done with this project stuff and probably work on something else. I'm going to catch you guys later and bump you with a fist.